Hello everyone. So this is Mrs. Hurst, her hairstyle. Okay, this hairstyle, we're kind of fudging on this one. I only found 2 hairstyles of hers, and they weren't really clear. They're pretty much the same hairstyle. It's just entirely different with the bun. Like how they did it looked different in one from the other. I don't know if it was different, if it's the same. It's really hard to see her head because she's always wearing feathers and lacy caps, and yeah, so we're kind of faking on this one, but it's really pretty, and it's one where you kind of miss it if you don't pay very close attention. I know I missed it until my mom pointed it out to me one time, but yeah. So this one's going to be really easy. Modifying. I think you could do this on most hair types, most hair lengths. You need it long enough. You'll see when we get further along, you do need somewhat long hair, but it doesn't need to be like super long. And I have a cold, so that's why I sound like a bullfrog. Just to explain to everyone. Okay, so we're going to start off with separating out our hair, as like all of these start off. You definitely need a center part for this one. And if you want to do all the curls in the front, feel free to. If you've noticed, I haven't done that on any of them yet, because my hair is not the right length, and it's, yeah, doesn't go so great. So we're going to brush out all the tangles, and we're going to separate our hair. If you have a handy-dandy hair separator, works wonders. It's actually a part drawer, but whatever you use to separate your hair, you're going to want it pretty even. And a fair amount behind the ear. That's important. Get a good amount behind the ear because that's going to come into it later. And if you have thin hair, you might want to separate more. Well, you're definitely going to want to separate more than if you have thick hair, because we're braiding here. These are going to be braids. Now I noticed another hair tutorials. I've been watching them lately. And a lot of people list at the beginning what things that they have in their hairstyles, and I never ever have done that. So, bobby pins and hair bands. And a brush. Yeah. So, there's my supply list. So, I think that's a pretty good part there. Yeah, got a pretty good part going. Okay, and now the rest we're going to pull back. For now, I'm just going to pull it into a low ponytail, and I'll worry about it later. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to French braid all the way down like this. And you want a really neat and tight French braid, because that'll give you the right kind of look. So how we're going to do, take small amounts, and we're going to really tighten it as we do it. So while we're doing this, I'll babble a little bit, because I don't want to skip forward, because there's an important technique I need to show you all at the bottom. I hope y'all had a Merry Christmas. I certainly did. I'm sorry I didn't have any Christmas hair videos. I noticed that's another thing everyone else was doing that I didn't do this year. Next year I'll probably have something for y'all. Consider this a late Christmas hairstyle. The reason I really wanted to do this hairstyle today was I was reading a book, Mr. Darcy's Diary, and it got me thinking about Pride and Prejudice. I was like, I really want to do a Pride and Prejudice hairstyle now. Yeah, it's a pretty good book so far. A little modern in the language. It's not very Jane Austen-y. But okay, now, end of babbling here. You want to braid it all the way down flat against the ear. Make it really tight right there. That's important, because that'll come into it. Okay, and then just braid it down to the ends right there. And if you need to use clear elastics, my braid will hold by itself though, so I'm not going to. Alright, next one. Now we're just going to do the same thing on this side. I'll do that, And we'll be back. Okay, so we're back. We've got these very silly looking braids right here. As you probably have noticed, this is very similar to Charlotte so far. The difference is we anchored it as tightly as we could right here. And mine's a little bouncy here. You don't want it like this. But I'm not going to change it because it takes a long time to do all this. And I braided all the way down to the ends as far as I could. You can see how thin my ends are. That I think is probably would be the best because it'll be easier to hide the ends if we do it that way. Okay, so with these, what we're going to do is we're going to take them, we're going to loop them back a little bit like this, and then we're going to wrap it around the top of the head. We're going to pin it down here, hide the pin as best we can. And now on this side, we're going to do the same thing. Loop it like that. Yeah, I anchored a little better on this side than I did on the other side, but I'm still going to pin it down, just for security's sake. Okay, so now with this one, we're going to cross them in the middle and kind of hide the end. So it's kind of like a milkmaid braid, but not. Yeah, try to cross them in the middle. I'm going to pin them, so that'll be easier. Now, if you have shorter hair, and you're able to do all this, you probably have it a lot easier than I do, because you can just tuck your ends in like that, and jolly good fun. But for mine, what I'm going to do here, so I'm just going to roll up this end like this. Just kind of pin it. It doesn't have to be hidden under, because if you notice with hers, you can kind of see something. Oh, almost went down the drain there. You can kind of see something. It's kind of like an end or a tail. I don't know what exactly it is. So you don't have to hide it perfectly. And, you know, honestly, since this is such a missed and rather forgotten hairstyle, most people probably won't even know what this is from if you wear it. But it's still really pretty, and it'll definitely get you lots of compliments, I think. Okay, there we go. So we got our pins in, so now we should have this really nice braid going here. See? There we go. Really pretty. And my hair is acting really crazy today, so it looks a little odd. It doesn't look smooth. And if you wanted to stop right here with this, just let your hair down and have that looks really pretty that way, I think, actually. But that's not what we're doing today. We're doing Mrs. Hurst, or Louisa, whatever you want to call her. Okay, now with the rest of this hair, what we're going to do is we're going to pull it into a somewhat high pony. Don't want it too low, but you don't want it too high either, because otherwise you have this big gap between your braids and the bun, and it's not that good. Okay. Pull it fairly high up. About to there, probably a good point, I would say. Now you're going to divide this into two. This is how I'm going to do this bun. The bun can be done anywhere you want to, because there's really no right way to do it, because nobody knows how it's done, probably, except the hair designers. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to do a soft rope braid, as I call it. Just wrap the hair. So you give the look of a rope braid, but you don't have all the twisting of a rope braid. This is how I think they did her bun. Okay, I'm just going to do that on this side too. Nice, easy little twists. They don't have to go the same way. I'm just doing them the same way because it feels more comfortable that way. Alright, now what we're going to do is let them roll a little bit, and now I'm going to wrap it in a bun around the hairband, like so. This doesn't take a whole ton of bobby pins, just enough to secure. And there's some people don't like bobby pins. A little trick with putting in bobby pins that I'll say right here. I used to give myself terrible headaches with bobby pins until I learned how to put them in right. And I think that's why a lot of people don't like bobby pins. It's because they don't know how to put them in. When you put them in, you don't put them in facing down towards your head because that's like asking for a headache. You push them more horizontally into the bun. Instead of going down like this, you go like that. See? Like this. Aim for the hairband because that'll give it something to hold on to, as well as will save your head. There we go. And just a couple more. Make sure everything's pinned down just right. Okay, and there we have it. See? How nice. Mrs. Hurst hairstyle. Very fancy, I think. Very refined. Definitely suited her personality. So for the next one, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going on to Lizzie this time. Okay, I'm excited about hers. For that one, lots of curls. It's really basic thing. She has very similar hairstyles to the one video I've already done, Pride and Prejudice, how to do a Pride and Prejudice hairstyle. But there's some variations, and we're going to play with that a little bit, especially for my long hair. I used to love doing that hairstyle. My hair was short, and now it's long, so now I'm going to have to play with different ways to tweak it so us long hair people can do it. Yeah.